Hey guys, I'm John coming at you with another Diablo Immortal video. I typically don't do this, but I'm going to do my friend, the data miner, a good solid here. He's been doing a lot of work for us in the Diablo Immortal community. He literally DMs us as soon as he figures out all this information. When I say us, I mean like myself, Veiled Shot Gaming, Darth Microtransaction, Chosen, JT is All Business, a few other content creators for Diablo Immortal because there's not a few of us left. And I want to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up his YouTube video. So before my video even starts, go follow this man, hit the like and subscribe on his channel, help him out. He's reached over the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is awesome. So now he's going to get monetized, but go follow him, guys. It doesn't hurt you or anything. And this is information you guys want to know. 100% this is information you want to know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play this information, and I'm going to give you my reaction as far as how I think this is actually going to impact Diablo Immortal, because he has a few interesting things that he found in the game that I think will be impactful for Diablo Immortal moving forward. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into it here, and let's see what he's got going on here for the data mine currently. I've already kind of got an idea on this, but let's see what he's got going on. Data miner here.
Finally, a new data mine wrap-up video where we discuss the findings of the last update. Today's topics include the rules of the upcoming server merges, the discovery of a new battleground mode, a fishing minigame, new classes, and more.
Okay, so first things first, before we go further into this, so we have server merges, which is huge, right? This is the first thing that a lot of people are asking for. We have new classes. I don't think that's anything anyone's asked for. I personally have not asked for this, so I'm curious as to what's being developed on this. It seems to me like that's a little one-sided as far as the spectrum goes. Leave a comment down below. Are you someone who's looking for a new class? I don't think that's needed personally. And then also a new game type. That'll be a little interesting. Let's keep going, see what he has to say.
Discussion timestamps can be found in the description below. But before you skip ahead, consider subscribing for more Diablo Immortal highlights in the future.
Subscribe to him. He already hit the 1K.
Update.
We need to move him up higher.
The first update may be bad news, but let's get it out of the way, shall we?
Okay, I don't like that he literally prefaces this with, it may be bad news. That's never good.
In the server selection, they've added the error message, only servers in the same region can be selected.
Ooh, okay, so same region. That can be a problem. Granted, like, it depends. So it's going to be divided into US East, West, and UK. I guess that's not necessarily the end of the world, but that's kind of, that limits a lot of us. Like, say, for example, Aftershock United, if we wanted to combine as a whole, we are located on East, West, and UK. For us personally, it would be beneficial if it didn't matter what server location it was, because at that point, we could merge and then join together and have, once again, 3 major clans, because we could absorb East, we could absorb UK, and then at that point, that would give us 3 solid clans again in 1 server.
This could mean that cross-region transfers will not be allowed at this time. Second, an additional clause was added to the rules. The first character transfer on a player account is free. This offer may be discontinued at any time without notice.
I don't think that discontinued anytime without notices. I don't think that's going to be I don't think that's worth talking about. I highly don't, I wouldn't see them like removing it. I think we'll be giving it once and then it won't matter. It will never go away. But I guess I could see the FOMO of losing out.
So if you want to transfer, do it as quickly as possible before the free transfer offer expires. It's also made clear that transfer limits apply to the account and not on a per character basis.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I really don't. I don't think that's going to be something to necessarily take stock in.
On the bright side, players with negative platinum or eternal orb balance will not be allowed to transfer. Server merges.
Okay, so real quick, touch base real quick on that. People who are negative balance and can't move are stuck. That's amazing. So that tells me that you need to be looking at your favorite content creators, figure out what servers they're active on, and go to those guys and leave everyone else behind. And I say that with the biggest smile on my face, Because generally speaking, most of the content creators that you're going to be watching are going to be active content creators, right? They're going to be playing the game actively. They're, like whether it's myself and Aftershock or JT's All Business. And I know even then I'm not as active, but like you got Failed Shot, you got Darth Micro, you got our whole Aftershock crew is still playing daily, all day, every day. Going to those servers are going to be a bit more beneficial because then you can leave behind all the negative orbers. And then at that point, what that does is then that bands them together and they're all negative orbers, right? But then you get to go and you get to play with more active players who are not fakes, that aren't people who spend a lot of money and then refund it. Our server is littered with a few, sure, but every single server will be. So it's not like you'll ever be able to transfer to a fresh server that has no negative orbers. But you might as well pick one server that's more populated with people that you know or could relate to than you would be by joining, let's say, just a random server out there, right?
It seems that Blizzard may be waiting for server merges to be ready to potentially launch it alongside transfers. The following details and rules are known. Server merges allow players from different servers to play together and experience a more robust server experience.
Okay.
Server merge overview.
Okay, so obviously now we're talking about server merge, which is different, right? So first you go from player or server transfer, right? Which is where you get to dictate where you're going. Server merge is different. That's where Blizzard kind of has a say on, or well, I shouldn't say Blizzard, that's where NetEase has a say on, okay, you're located in X server, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take you from X server. I'm going to put you in this server over here because that makes the most sense for me.
You will be able to log into your new server once the server merge is complete. The process to log into your characters remains the same. You will need to log in through your original server. No characters have been deleted. If the new server you merge to has someone with the same character name, warband name, or clan name, a number will be automatically added to the name and a free name change will be provided.
Okay, so I'm curious to see if that's exactly what happens or not. It should, by all accounts, but so far we've seen a lot from Blizzard and NetEase that shows us that what we would expect to be common norm is not common for them, and it's unfortunately a negative side effect. But yeah, generally speaking, it totally makes sense. Like, say for example, I'm Warband Whiskey with my guild or with my warband. If we were to say server merge with someone else and someone else had the bright idea to make it whiskey, right? Because I mean, let's be honest, whiskey is a common thing. Cheers to you to those of you out there watching this later that night. But it's definitely one of those things where it makes sense why this would happen. You definitely don't want to be changing or have to share names with someone else, right? So add a number to it and call it good. However, I, at this point, don't trust Blizzard anymore. A lot of the things they've done don't give me a whole lot of faith in the company as far as this is what should happen. Maybe we'll get a name change, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
Your character will keep all their items, including equipment, materials, gems, etc. Your character will keep all their friends. Your character will remain in the same clan. Your character will remain in the same warband.
Okay, that's good.
Your battleground score and rank will be retained. All leaderboards will be re-ranked after the server merge and rewards will be distributed accordingly. All market orders will be retained on the new server.
Okay.
First pass records and challenge rifts will be retained. The immortal with the highest dominance will become the new immortal.
Okay, so the immortal with the highest dominance become the new immortal. That could get a little spicy, giving the activity of what the immortal is from one server to another server. For example, on our server, a lot of players have kind of died out. Like, yeah, it's 300 players for an immortal. I would say out of 300, we maybe have 150 that are actually active as far as the three guilds go, which is kind of low, to be honest with you. So the fact that if we're at 150 with 3 immortals, because the game we're in a stalemate, right? Where everything's getting stale, it's not fresh, they're not doing a good job of keeping us engaged in the game. This means that if someone comes over and has, say, a full 300 people that are active and engaged, that means their dominance is going to be higher, and they're going to easily bump them out an immortal. That could be a potential problem because we've already proven that it could take up to 6 weeks to knock someone off of immortal.
All other immortals will be reverted to adventurers and be compensated accordingly. Shadows and Adventures.
So I'm curious to see what does compensated accordingly actually mean. Does that mean that it's going to be something that is a fair compensation, or is this going to mean something that's going to be like well, it's kind of compensated, but not really? Like, as in, like, we're getting dust, not glowing shards or legendary crests.
Adventurers will retain their progress on the new server. It appears as if no servers will be deleted from the server selection, but instead, a union will be formed that combines player and market data.
I think that's a mistake. They need to delete old. They need to delete and combine, and that'll just help with the bandwidth. It's also coming from a software company, right? I know how you have to pay for each data server that you're using because we host our stuff on data servers and we allow people to remote it or to connect to download it from it, right? That seems dumb to my opinion. This could also, though, be because of the negative orbers. They want to go ahead and leave the negative orbers in their own server in the opinion or in the background and just leave them out on their own instead of potentially combining them to where they can log in and keep playing and interfering with other players.
Boon of the Progenitors.
What?
The Boon of the Progenitors seems to be a new bundle coming to Diablo Immortal.
Okay, we don't need any more bundles from Diablo Immortal. We really don't. That's the problem is there's a lot of bundles and they're not great. They're not a great value. Spending in this game has been not necessarily the greatest thing to do, to be frank with it, right? It hasn't been the most enjoyable experience.
The bundle's description reads, collect eternal orbs at purchase and log in to receive rewards, including the Abiding Curse 2-star and Frozen Heart 5-star legendary gems.
So the bundle gives you a guaranteed 5 stars, so everyone will buy it.
Characters at or above level 40 can purchase this one-time bundle.
Yeah, so it's a one-time bundle.
Login days accumulate during the sales period regardless of whether a purchase was made. For 21 days after purchase, you will be able to claim the rewards for accumulated login days. If at the time the bundle expires, your cumulative login days are below 14 or if you have unclaimed rewards, the remaining rewards will be mailed to you on December 6, 2022 so you don't miss out on them. Character Face Remake.
So that's interesting that there's that much detail on it. That means they really loaded that up in the code for the circumstance and also for the text. I think they had to do that because Boon of Plenty was such a flop as far as you had to log in every single day. And that was the biggest gripe from a lot of other content creators scrutinizing Diablo Immortal. And they were like, you get the privilege of spending money in the game and then having to log in to get your rewards from spending money in the game. And I think that's their fix to that.
A character face remake seems to be in development that will allow players to redesign their character's appearance. It was a requested feature by the community, since if you once picked a certain style and look, you're locked into it.
Literally no brainer. I complained about this how many times when I changed classes.
Exist that it can be paid for with platinum instead of orbs.
I thought originally when I created my character as a demon hunter, it didn't matter what my appearance was. I was trying to get in because I was trying to stream. I was literally at the launch of Diablo Immortal. I was like, I'm going to make this character and I'm going to go. So I just picked whatever I wanted or whatever I could the fastest to get me in the game. And then I come find out later that I can't change my character. And I thought when I changed from Demon Hunter to Satyr, that then when I switched back to Demon Hunter, I'd be able to switch my character again, and it didn't happen. I was so furious. So I'm glad to hear about this, but it looks like it's going to still be in development, not finalized.
Is this a preparation move to eventually hide the helmet? We can only hope. New Battleground Mode. The new Battleground mode takes place in an instance of the Dark Wood to fight in an open environment against monsters and players.
Okay, that could be good.
Leaders can pick a waypoint to enter battle, which suggests that you will enter as a team.
That's good.
PvP modifications. You can enter buildings in the Dark Wood to hide from the enemies and seek protection, but players outside will be invisible to you.
So that's where that gets a little confusing. So players outside will be invisible to you. It's that the whole hidden, like until you come up on them thing. I don't agree with that at all. Especially if it's going to be a PvP. I mean, if we're talking PvP in Diablo Immortal, and this is the way we're going to structure it, to where you're going to be able to have real world monsters and PvP type players. At that point, it really needs to be a battle royale. It needs to become from battlegrounds to battle royale. And at that point, if you classify and you create a game mode that's more of a battle royale, I think at that point you've engaged more people. More people are more apt to spend more to become that leader of the battle royales. I mean, it's no different than, let's think of like first-person shooter games, right? Like Call of Duty Warzone. Myself, as a first-person shooter player, I will play Warzone unlimited amount of times. I will no longer run team deathmatch and domination and the general multiplayer because battle royale was better. So if they were to swap this up and go from battlegrounds to battle royale, that could be potentially a major change in the game. That would be worth it.
At certain intervals, a poisonous mist will spread, and players outside will lose life. You can find healing pools to restore your life. Gameplay and battle. The initial character level is 1, and skills are temporarily locked.
Okay.
By defeating monsters and players, you can quickly restore and upgrade your skills.
Oh, so it's going to be a solo, you're on your own, but as you kill monsters and players, you get to upgrade your character's skills and your character's abilities to kind of fine tune it. It reminds me kind of like the Planes event that we had, right? Where you were locked into certain builds to complete the fractured planes. Similar to this. That's very interesting.
You will come across treasures, and the better the treasure chests, the better the equipment it drops. Spoils to the victor. After defeating an enemy, the enemy's equipment, gems, and legendary gems will be dropped as loot.
That's interesting. So all their gems, all their equipment will get dropped as loot. That's kind of similar to Apex. Apex, when you die, everything you have on your character drops together, and then you can sift through it, pick what's best, and then take it from it and move forward. That's a very good mechanic that Apex Legends has. So I'm glad to hear that they're going to kind of adopt that in Diablo Immortal.
Loot. The loot is only available during the game and can't be taken out of the battleground. The winner is the last team to survive.
Totally
this mode
makes sense.
seems to be a great adaptation of the fractured plane, modified to work with PvP in the best possible way.
Oh, that's funny. He even mentions
I can't
the
wait to
fractured
see
plane.
how this truly plays out in the end.
I think this would be a good
Fishing
balance for
minigame.
Battlegrounds.
The story around the fishing game is
wait. Fishing minigame. Why? This is Diablo Immortal. Why the F are we fishing? If I wanted to fish in a game like this, I'd go play Final Fantasy XIV again. Come on.
still shrouded in mystery. It might be part of a questline extension that revolves around islanders, sailors, and eventually a fishing shop. Fishing is done with a fishing rod item skill. You can currently go fishing for 5 minutes and try to hook fish.
For 5 minutes?
They are set to bite within 20 to 40 seconds of time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Once a fish bites, you have a limited amount of time to react before it's lost to the sea.
Okay.
You may catch up to 6 fish in one game, and certain bait can be used to attract bigger fish. There seem to be a total of 40 different fish to catch, including a goldfish.
Why are these
The purpose
important?
and the exchange of fish are unclear at this stage.
Okay, so he doesn't
New
know.
classes. Blood Knight. The Blood Knight class
The
was
Blood
data mined
Knight.
months ago.
All right. I don't know what's with the Blood Knight. I'm sure we're going to hear more about some sort of vampire sucking, health regen build. I don't think that's needed in Diablo Immortal. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's needed. I think this is dumb. If it gives us a cool aesthetic, then awesome. But I don't see the point in having a Blood Knight class. I think that's a waste of time, and Blizzard need to be focusing on better things than this.
Dating all the way back to the closed beta in January 2022. However, new indicators point towards a release not too far in the future. To recap, the Blood Knight
better be
uses
far in the
dash,
future.
stab, blood, shadow, and demon-based skills to damage enemies. In the last patch, it was evident that the Blood Knight class is being prepared to have their own Challenge Rift leaderboard.
Why?
Furthermore,
Why do they only? Why do they have their own Challenge Rift leaderboard? That shouldn't be a thing if everyone else does not have this. That tells me that they already think this is going to be broken.
Switch was added to simply enable it at any given time. Details, including skill descriptions and pictures of the old 3D models, can be found on Wowhead. I'll link it in the description. Tempest.
Okay, what's
The
Tempest?
Tempest class is still in early development, and as such, only bits
Oh,
and
okay,
pieces
another
are known
class.
thus far,
I don't think
and
we
no
need more.
images or models are present.
Good.
It is definitely not a common class, but I found references to it in the Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game.
That's
D&D
fine.
defines it as follows. A tempest is the point of calm within a whirling barrier of deadly blades. Sure enough, I could find Chinese references to a skill translating to multiple wind blades, as well as fire, water, and illusion-based skills.
All right, so he's already translating better than our translators did for the other gems that we have in the game. Well, that's a good sign. Maybe there's hope for Diablo Immortal yet. Maybe they should hire this data miner to do the translation for him. I don't know. Seems to be a better source of information than the game itself.
We can assume it's going to be a speedy elemental illusionist type of class that is going to be intelligence-based. I will keep you posted as I gain more insights. If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like.
So that's going to go ahead and that's going to do it for his video. Like he said, like and subscribe on his own video as well as on my own video. But before we end it here, guys, I want to touch base on a couple things. So the takeaways from what I saw here is one, nothing is hard fast. It's all data mine information. So nothing necessarily is exactly what's going to happen with the game. Out of what was listed and talked about, the only thing that I think is detrimental to the game is the server merges. I think that's important and that should happen. So far, it seems like they're going to handle this properly, no different than any other game, which is exactly what I would expect. I used to play Game of War Fire Age myself, and they did a lot of server merges, and it helped the game tremendously when they did this. Actually revitalized things. So by server merges, that's going to help revitalize. Server transfers, on the other hand, is going to be a little differently, and I'm hesitant to say that these are going to fix the game. Server merges are going to be the better way to go about this, but being able to and allowing players to maybe switch to another server, like for example, when we started out with Aftershock United, a lot of players were in Scrappy Echoes, or they were in One Time, and they're like, "Hey, I would love to have played with you guys instead, or at least checked it out." Server transfers allow for this, but server mergers take and give you more familiarized people, which are usually better for a economy and a general player base than just server transfers. But I do like that we get at least one server transfer. That's normally something that people would monetize very, very heavily. For example, once again, I hate to piggyback off of the Game of War Fire Age. It used to be $100 to go from one server to another server, and that was reasonable. Everyone paid that. It was no problem. So that's something they could monetize, and luckily they haven't monetized it, at least for the first one. So that's good on Blizzard. I would be curious to see what it would cost if we used another one later on. But I think that's the biggest data mine link that's really worthwhile and notable is the server merges, guys. So definitely take that, take everything else with a grain of salt. But that's what I'm going to say is the most important. And that's going to do it for this YouTube video. Leave a comment down below. Definitely make sure to go follow our boy Diablo Immortal data mining and leaks. Blow him up. He's doing a great community service. Let him know that he is by giving him a follow and a subscribe. Join the Aftershock United Discord. We're also going to be showcasing his videos on our server. So definitely let us know and go join us so that way you can be a part of it. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.